Hey guys, Mac here. In this video, we are going to be doing a tour of the four-wheel camper Project M. The Project M is the most simplistic of all the four-wheel camper models in that it is geared towards the DIYers out there. It's a completely blank slate, ready to be made into whatever you want it to be. The other nice thing about it is you still get to use your truck and its truck bed in its original form while still being able to leave the camper on it. Currently, this Project M is on a Ford F-150. I will not be reviewing the truck itself. We're going to be more focusing on an overview of the camper and our experience living in it for the last 2 weeks, and even a little bit of how we would use the space if it was our own. Like all four-wheel campers, it is a pop top, which is really nice. You get a low driving height, and then you get the full standing height when you're at camp. The top is secured in the down position via 6 latches, 2 in the front and 2 on each side of the vehicle. This happens to be a 6.5-foot bed, and on this camper, it is a flat-sided with a large sliding window on the passenger side. Four-wheel campers makes a Project M to fit just about any modern truck with any truck bed size. Here on the driver's side of the Project M, we have a smaller sliding window, as well as 2 track systems. This one came with 2 rotopacks on it with gas, as well as an aluminum bracket that holds an axe and a shovel. And over the course of the 2 weeks that we have had it, it's all held up really well on countless miles of dirt roads and 4x4 tracks. We've used the gas. It's all been really nice to have. Personally, with a rig like this, it's always nice to have your dirtier items being stored outside of the vehicle. So these track systems are super handy. Here at the back of the truck is the entrance to the Project M. It is a very large back door, which is so nice. You can open up the entire camper. There's 2 latches that are lockable from the outside. I will say in our experience, we do wish that they were lockable from the inside. So when you're closing up for the night, you had the ability to lock them from the inside. And then we have 2 rear floodlights located each side of the door, and the switch is located just on the inside of the Project M to turn it on. Now we are standing inside of the Project M. I'm going to be taking you through the space and some of the different things that it comes with. We love how tall the standing space in here is. It's super nice, and compared to a wedge style camper, you get your full standing height all the way back to your bed, which starts right here and then goes this way. So you get a lot of living space, and because you get your entire truck bed, it's a lot wider than some other campers out there because you really are getting to utilize the full interior space of your truck bed. Over here, we have the thermal pack like all four-wheel campers, and then you can peel it back to this layer, peel it back one more time. You have your clear window, and then you can peel it yet again, and you get a mesh layer. So keep the bugs out, but get the airflow in. On the ceiling, this Project M has 4 different LED tap lights, which are dimmable. So you get plenty of light for illuminating the space at night. And then there is also a smoke detector and 2 roof vents. This one that's closer to the tailgate has a Dometic roof fan in it with 3 settings. You can open it, you can push or pull. Then the one over the bed is just an open air vent, which is actually really nice when you have a push-pull air vent. You can really get the air circulating through here if it's hot or you just need to clean the air out in the space. Here on the driver's side of this Project M, it came with a 79 amp hour AGM battery, as well as a 160 watt Overland solar panel, which has been fueling this battery. We have been running a Dometic fridge off of it like a dream for this last 2 weeks, as well as doing some work here and there. It also came with a 12 volt as well as 4 USBs. Been great for, this is where the fridge has been, phones, camera batteries, all sort of stuff like that. And then you also have your battery monitor. This whole system is being secured by L brackets, which is an incredibly handy system. They're also located on the walls for tying down just about anything you could possibly want to store in here. Very important for when you're going down bumpy roads because things get really rattled back here. Located on either side of the Project M is this little platform, which has been a really handy shelf for storing things such as the battery system and our stove. And it is currently, it's sitting right on where it connects with the truck bed. And this is our small window. It slides and opens, has a screen layer so you don't let the bugs in, and it is also the emergency exit for the camper. Facing the front of the truck is the bed area. We really love this setup because you get your full bed that doesn't have to be completely stowed out of the way with still getting your entire living space. This bed has the ability to come all the way out to this point right here. We personally have opted to sleep with it in its smallest form going side to side as opposed to heads front to back, which is totally possible if you do extend the bed. We just like this size and we don't like to interfere with our living space at all. But the fabric that the bed cushion is made out of is kind of a plasticized, like faux leather material. And we found it to be quite cold. It holds on to the cold really well. That's great if you're in a warmer area. However, it has been pretty cold for us, and we found this surface to be a little bit chilling to sleep on. So we found that we've been sleeping on top of a couple of blankets and then be in our sleeping bags on top of it. However, all of that being said, I do think that this material makes a lot of sense for this space. Truck beds get dusty. There's just a lot of open gaps in them, and it allows for a lot of dust to come in. This material is super easy to clean, super easy to wipe down. Over here on the passenger side of the Project M is another platform and the largest window that is in this particular Project M. It has the same features. You can slide the glass open as well as the screen. Great airflow as always, as well as more L tracks, giving you more options for tie downs. Another amazing thing about having a truck bed is that you still have access to all of your factory tie downs. It's so important to have an organizational system in a space that is as blank as this is. And then to have the ability to secure it is super important so things aren't just flying around back here when you are off-road driving down who knows what deteriorated road, but we have also really loved having these platforms to store stuff up and off the floor. So when we are parked at camp, we have the ability to free up some space on the floor and get all of our stuff out of the way. Now that I've taken you through the basics of what this space is, I kind of want to talk to you about what Owen and I would do if this was our own. It is such a blank canvas. The opportunities are endless, but over the course of the last 2 weeks, we've really gotten a chance to know the space, and this is kind of what we would do with it. We would probably put in a subfloor storage system, potentially some pull-out drawers that can be accessed when you're standing outside of the truck. Great for additional storage. It also gets cold in here just because there's not a lot of insulation, especially in the actual bed of the truck. And so if we built up a little bit of a storage system, we could add some insulation in the floor. We would also add some curtains. It doesn't come with any, so it's pretty important to have something of some description to cover the windows for privacy. But again, always going to be important for insulation in the more colder months and locations. And then on the driver's side, we were thinking that we would do a low cabinet system up to about standing height and do a kitchen top above it, as well as a small, probably pretty minimalist sink that would drain into a small bucket or jug of some description. And then on the passenger side, we were thinking it would be more of a seating area with some below seating storage, potentially a small collapsible put away table so we could do a little bit of work in here. We would potentially also put our batteries lower on the floor in the storage system to get that weight down lower, to keep it clean and keep it out of the way. Now I want to talk through a little bit of feedback that we have for this space. As mentioned before, we wish that there was an option to be able to lock the back door from the inside. As it is now, you have to lock it from the outside, step in, and then close yourself in for the night to lock up. We feel like it would be a good option to have the ability to lock from the inside if you happen to find yourself in inclement weather or anything like that, so you don't have to get out, get back in, and then close it in. And on that same subject, to close the back hatch, you have to hold each of the levers, and it's almost my entire arm span. So it would be nice to have a little handle in the middle to just be able to pull it down with one hand. As mentioned before, it gets very dusty in here. Very, very dusty. In fact, everything that we own is covered in a lovely layer of dust from all of the 4x4 roads that we've been doing lately. But there's got to be a solution for that. I think that it's more of a truck bed issue than a Project M issue. These aren't meant to be airtight, you know, it's a truck bed. There's tons of little air gaps that you can see around it, and thus those are all great places for dust to find its way in. I'm super curious for those who do have wedge and truck bed campers. What do you guys do for that? I mean, it's super important, obviously, to have storage systems to put everything into to prevent them from getting dusty. But I think that there's definitely a need for finding a way to seal that dust out in a space like this. As much as we have really enjoyed these two platforms on either side of the camper in its current form, we think that potentially, depending on what you would do with the space, if there was going to be some sort of more formal build out in here, our concern is that these platforms would get in the way. I think that as it stands, it's an amazing addition because you can sit on them, you can cook on them, you can stack your gear. But if you were going to build out a cabinet system, it feels like it would be a little limiting because you would have to build below and above them in two separate pieces instead of one solid piece going all the way up. In conclusion, we have thoroughly enjoyed our last 2 weeks living out of a Project M. It is an amazing blank canvas that feels like so much is possible for just about anybody who wants to get out there and get camping. You can leave it like this, or you can build it out to something a little bit more extravagant. We have a huge affinity for minimalist builds, so it's really exciting to see the potential in a space like this. And honestly, Owen and I see ourselves in the future with a more simplistic build, and this feels like a real option for us. It's an exciting addition to the four-wheel camper lineup because it is the most affordable option that they have. Huge shout out to Four Wheel Campers for lending us the Project M to take out on the road for the last 2 weeks. It's been an absolute blast. On that subject, we have been documenting these last 2 weeks through Death Valley, down 395, Bishop, Lone Pine. We've had an incredible trip in this rig and a slide-in, which we will also have a tour of shortly. But you guys have an awesome couple of videos to look forward to of our experience in these two vehicles. Like I said, it has been an absolute blast. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you down the road. Oh, you're ready? Sorry. Four-wheel camper. Wow, I feel like I'm yelling. Oh, hi. Oh my gosh, he's got the biggest pollen pants. Oh, don't go under my watch. Four-wheel campers. Come on, you can go. Oh my God. It's licking me. Four-wheel campers makes a Project M to fit just about any truck, make, model, and no. In this Project M on the driver's side, it came with a 79 amp hour AGM. 2 weeks of being on dirt roads, and are you okay? Last 2 weeks to live out of. That was a weird way to say that.